Hello, we're live.
And we're live.
Yes, we are. How you doing?
I am doing well. Peter, how about you?
All right. It kind of cooled down a little bit here in Seattle. We had summer-like weather for the past couple of days, but it cooled down today, so it's under 70, which is really nice.
Wish I could say the same. It's been kind of hot and humid here in it's kind of the Mideast here in North Carolina. It has been kind of muggy, I would say. On
Yeah.
raining, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, what are we doing today? By the way, if you're here, say hi in the comments. Of course, we always want to know who's watching, if anyone's watching.
Mhm.
Uh, but this is part 3 of the stream where in the past 2 streams, what we've basically built a Terraform agent that was using an AWS Terraform MCP server, and that agent knew how to create Terraform configuration. And in the past stream last week, we created a GitHub PR agent, and that agent was using GitHub or Git PR MCP server.
Right.
And that agent could clone the repository, it could create branches, commits, and then also push up the branches and do PRs. Right. Now, both of these agents were wrapped, I guess, with an AWS AIC agent. And
Mhm.
that agent, what that one does is it basically delegated work to Terraform or the Git PR agents. So we're at the last step, the last agent that we'll build today. And if you think about from the workflow, so what we did is we created some Terraform. We created a branch, a PR. We pushed it up, right? We click approve. The human, right? The human in the loop approves the PR, and then the GitHub Actions sprung into action, and they go and deploy. Use Terraform. I mean Terraform apply. Is it?
Yes, it is Terraform apply. Once we merge. Yeah.
Yeah, so those go and then actually create the resources in AWS. So this last agent that we'll do today is what we wanted to do is once all of that is done, what I was thinking we could do is we could create another agent that we would prompt and say, hey, this PR got merged, PR 1234, right? Got merged. Can you go and check if stuff was actually created in AWS, right? Uh, so for that, as with the past 2 agents, we'll have to use an AWS MCP server, right?
Sure. There you go.
To basically give access to give the agent tools and access to the AWS account, so it could go and verify the resources are actually there, right?
Yeah.
So I've searched wide and long and whatever the saying is, right?
Far and wide, I guess.
Far and wide, yeah. There you go, yeah. For AWS MCP servers, there are a couple. There are some official ones out there from AWS, and those are typically the ones. Like if there's an official MCP server for a tool, product, platform, whatever you're using, you should always try and use that, right? However, I couldn't find anything that would actually list the resources, if you will, right, in the account. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just write our own. Why not? Right? It's not that bad if you vibe code it, right? It's not going to be perfect, but we're just doing a proof of concept here anyway. So I've created a simple AWS MCP server. That the only thing it does, it just calls the AWS CLI, right? That's all it does, and we'll go through that. All right, so I'll go and share my screen, and we'll basically go from the start and deploy everything again because
Let's take a look. Let's
yeah.
yeah. Again, I think one of the things we were trying to, as you're kind of setting this up, right? So, it's important for us to sort of understand, like, when do we use agents? When do we use like automation? Where do we give where do we assign tools, right? So seeing all of this kind of put together is kind of cool because we've been able to see how the sausage has been made, so to speak. So
yeah. So so I have I'm going to be deploying everything. I have this Git PR MCP. It is going to be running locally. Let me see this one. Yeah. So I have it running here. Let me see on the right side. Oh, actually, let me change this to like this, right?
There we go.
The layout. So I have that running there. Then let me deploy this one first. So we'll do apply Git PR MCP. There we go. So that one's created. And then if I go here, I should be able to see it here. There you go. So that's the PR server. We're also using the AWS Terraform MCP server. So let's apply that one as well. So AWS Labs, Terraform MCP. There. So let's refresh. It's down there. The tools are being discovered.
So to me, the cool part of this, Peter, is the fact that like you're able to just like describe in a YAML file, right, what the MCP server is, and then you can just do a cool apply and
yes,
get this started. So it's natural to us Kubernetes folks.
Exactly. And also for this Git PR, sure, I'm running it locally, but there is a repo. Let me see if I can open the repo. And we had a contribution last week where I want to say let me see who was the person. Wait, that's not me. Wait, why isn't it showing me? Oh, commits. There you go. There you go. It showed me the name here. Why is it? Omar. It was Omar. I was thinking the right way. Yeah. I was thinking the right way. So he added the Docker file and Kubernetes file, so you can basically run this in Kubernetes as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that was added there. That's what I wanted to say. But I'm still running it locally just for the ease of use, and if we ever want to go and like debug anything. All right, so we have the two tool servers there. Then I'm gonna go and deploy the Terraform agent. So let's do that. Terraform agent. Okay. And I'm gonna deploy the AWS. Oh, the Git PR agent, right?
That's right. For those in the back or anybody that might have missed the last two, right? This is us, deploying all of the stuff that we created previously.
Yes, getting back to the same state we were a week ago, right?
Yeah.
And then the last one was the AWS IaC agent. All right, and this agent, the last one, is basically referencing the Git PR agent and the Terraform agent. So we can actually see these here. Where is it? This one, right? AWS IaC agent. That's the one. So it has access to the Git PR agent, Terraform agent, and it knows how to use the GitHub repos as well. And just look at the instructions here. So is the font? Let me up the fonts a little.
Yeah, you could. That looks pretty good, I think.
It's good. Yeah, if it's too small, someone should scream so we know. But your AWS agent that knows how to create Terraform configuration and submit pull requests, right? This is our entry point, right? When asked to create configuration, we'll check the existing config in this repo, clone, list files, right? Then you will use the Terraform agent to send it the existing configuration with the task to that explains what. That was a typo here somewhere, right? Then you will use the Terraform agent and send it the existing configuration with the task that explains, right, what to incorporate in that configuration. Once you validate it, you will use Git PR agent to submit a PR. All right. So let's try this just for fun, right? To actually know that it still works, right? So we'll say create an EC2 instance in Virginia, right?
That's correct.
All right. So let's do that, just so we know that this still works and the setup is correct. There you go. So it's cloning the repo. It's checking the files for the repo, reading the files in the repo, right? It's giving you all the... Actually, I should probably open the repo, right? So people see what the What are we doing there?
The example Terraform repo from last time.
So let's go example, this guy, right?
Yeah.
So we're basically reading the main outputs and variables files, right? And now we're calling the Terraform agent that's saying incorporate the creation of EC2 into existing blah, 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 right? It's basically giving instructions on how to incorporate the EC2 instance into this existing configuration.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see what happens. Then we should kick it off, right? At that point, right? Like it's going to create a PR, but then we should actually let the PR merge so we can get some things created, right?
Yep, let's try it.
Yeah, so let's see. So Git PR agent. All right, so it did this, blah, 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 blah. Changes is committed. Pull request was created. There you go. So if I go to the pull request, boom.
There we are.
It is. All right. So just so people know, right? Why is it your face here and your name here? It's because it's
using
the API key that you created, right? I didn't create the
personal access token that you're using. I just happen to generate from my account, which is why it's showing up in me.
Yeah. However, the commit, look at that, right? The commit has my picture because I was the one who actually created commit. It was created locally on my machine, right? That's why.
Some of this is a little, trying to make it work. But how about we actually go through the process of reviewing it, right? So we can go.
Yeah, you're right. So let's go to files change and make sure that it's good. So ECT and EC2. So this was commented. So it uncommented everything, and it's saying, hey, use the AMI ID. I'm assuming that's defined somewhere, right?
Yeah, it is already. I think it's.
Is it in values or
somewhere in there? I think.
Let me see. Let me go here. Let me just open it side by side like this. Might be in variables. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there it is. The AMI ID.
Yeah. So it was smart enough, right? Look at that. So we had this commented out in the code, in the config. But it was smart enough, and I'm doing air quotes here, to instead of hard code the name as it was here or the value as it was here, it actually knew that there was a variables file and it used the value from there.
That's right.
So it used it from there. It used the instance type, which is T2 micro from there. The subnet ID, which is coming from AWS subnet. Where is that one coming from? Do we know?
That should be.
Maybe it's already defined in. It was already defined. So that one's already defined here. So it's reusing whatever was there. Mm-hmm. And then VPC security group. I think that one is defined as well.
Also defined as well. Right? Yeah. All of that stuff is in the.
Oh, there we go. It's down here. It was down there somewhere. Where was it? Oh, there it is. So it was here. And then it's tagging it with the web server, just it was there. And then in the output is just saying outputting the ID of the instance itself, and then the public ID of the instance as well. It is removing this one, not sure why, but that's okay. We don't have to necessarily output this, right?
Right.
So I don't know. What do you think? Looks good?
I think this looks pretty good. Why don't we go ahead and give this a merge?
Yeah, and we can also look at here, by the way, right, as well. The validation was successful, right? And
so
this one should be fine as well, I think, right?
Right. So what we're seeing here is the PR, right? We've set up. This is again what we were trying to to illustrate before, is the fact that we used agents to create the Terraform code, but then we're using traditional CI/CD pipeline automation to actually validate the code. And then we're going to further use CI/CD pipeline to then merge the code, right? So merge and then apply the Terraform so that it actually realizes the resources in AWS. So all we have to do now is just hit that merge pull request. And since you have access, you can actually merge. I know this is kind of a no merging your own stuff, but hey, this is for general purposes.
So this is merge. So if I go to actions, this should kick off. There you go. Right. So this is kicking off the Terraform apply.
That's right.
It's saying deploying to production. Right. And we so I think we should be fairly confident at this point that this will work, right? Because we did plan and everything beforehand, so it should be fine, right?
It shouldn't. It's clear there's no problem because it passed the test during the during the plan. Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes it'll fail. Sometimes I've seen where you'll do a clean plan, but for some reason when you try to apply, maybe it's a I don't know. Could be a RBAC situation, like you didn't have permissions.
There you go.
See, there you go.
The image ID doesn't exist.
Oh, so maybe what we need to do is make sure that we have that. So it's interesting. Where did it actually get that from?
So the image ID was coming from, it was already set somewhere, right? There you go, right? Oh, but let's see if it was correct.
Is it actually an instance, an AMI by that name?
So zeros, it is. So that's the image ID. Yeah, that's the same that was set there. I just don't know. Is that the right one? Oh, let's see.
So what we need to do is we need to go into. So what we could do is we could go into EC2 itself. This is just like a kind of a backdoor kind of way we could do it. Or that would actually be interesting. Maybe.
There you go. We can look it up here, right?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. You could.
It's not there. All right. So maybe it's wrong. Okay. Oh, it's fine. Right. So what do we need is, what are we actually installing? Linux, what was Linux 2?
I believe it was an Ubuntu instance, I thought. But.
Is it per? All right, so let's do zone, and we're doing this in US East 1, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so this is what we have. Which one do we want to pick? Does it matter? Like the version doesn't really matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So let's pick the first one, I guess. I don't know. Right? So let's do this one. Yeah?
That's fine.
All right. So we picked the first one. And now we're going to use an agent, right? So we merged right? We can use it, right? Yeah. So let's do this. So let's refresh here. I don't think I should have, needed it, but let's do a new chat, right? And say, hey, can you update the EC2 instance to use this, what is it called? AMI, right?
To use these the appropriate AMI ID. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. We haven't tested this, so let's see if it's going to work or not.
Again, live. This is live.
All right. So it's cloning the repo, listing files, reading files. Hopefully, it's syncing the actual repo. So there you go. So that's the old one, right? So it got the files from the old one. So let's see if I'm curious if it's actually going to go and create the new Terraform. You know what I mean? If it's going to call the it did call. Okay. So it did call the Terraform agent. So it's an update Terraform configuration.
Look at that.
There you go, right? So it's saying it's set to this change the default value in variables tf.tf file to reflect the change.
Look at that.
So there's a PR. So let's see. There you go, with the description and everything, right? Let's see. Boom.
Bam. Look at
that.
That's
what we wanted. It's 488D. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah?
Yeah. Perfect. So look at what we're doing, right? Like you are kind of you're acting as the maintainer, right? You're saying, nope, that was a bad PR, right? So the agents aren't just running wild here, right? You're
in control.
Yeah, you're in control. I think that's a great point that we're kind of showing.
All right, so let's merge this and let's cross our fingers that this is the actual fix for it. So it kicked off the apply. So we're going to see what happens next. Mm-hmm. We need an elevator music or something while this is happening. But
we'll have to use like Suno or something to.
Yeah. Oh, there actually is. I've never tried this. Let me see. It's probably gonna be. Can we do background music? Can you hear?
I hear that. Yeah.
Can you hear
it? Yeah, I do.
All right, let's leave it. Let's see what people think. Oh, no, it failed. Why? Same thing? Oh, maximum number is VPC. That's a JSON problem.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Go and clean up and we'll rerun. Yeah.
Yeah, let me go
Delete
clean
a
up.
couple.
Oh, here we go. So this is us sweeping the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me sweep the stage and clean the stage off for a second.
But also, I mean, these are kind of realities of doing stuff like this, right? It's like you have to clean up things. You have to make sure that it's. But yeah, this was just an error of AWS account, right? So once you have that cleaned up, let me know, and then what we'll do is we'll just restart the. I think we can restart this one, right? Yeah. Yeah, we can just rerun it once we have that deleted.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just gonna. I think the limit for is 5. And so I'm just gonna delete a few of them here.
Yeah, just delete. Yeah, I think we only need one anyway. So.
2 seconds here. All right, second one is deleted. All right, we'll clean up this last 2. I kind of like the music in the back. It's pretty nice,
right? It's not something is happening, right? And
yes. You must have done a little radio. You're not supposed to have any dead air, you know. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, I got them all cleaned up. They look good.
All right, so let's rerun the Terraform apply.
Let's try it one more time.
Maybe we'll hit another issue, but that's fine. We'll figure it out. So far, knock on wood, we've been able to figure out a lot of things, right?
Yeah, indeed. Don't know who we have watching. Any questions? Any comments? Feedback? Let us know. Anything interesting here? All right, let's see it again.
So init was good. We knew that. Plan was good as well.
Yeah.
Right? The apply is the.
Yeah, and these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about, right? When you hit apply, you know, sometimes, right? Again, it's like limit quotas, all kinds of things.
Yeah, you can't catch it with a plan necessarily. When
sometimes
you're
you
doing
can't catch it with a plan.
Yeah. But it looks like it's creating stuff, right? Look at that. Creating. Oh no! You're not authorized to perform what? We're not authorized to create a V. Wait, operation. Okay, so it's 403. Unauthorized to perform this operation. User. Oh, so it's basically whatever secret and or like API keys and or whatever GitHub, whatever AWS uses for authenticating with right. So, right. So it's whatever it's in GitHub doesn't have permissions to.
So in other words, so what I did was I basically exposed the key for running the plan, right? So in other words, the plan, the
key doesn't have permissions, right?
It has to be run by something that has access to actually, you know,
to create the
right. And so I think maybe what we need to do is just widen the access.
Can you? I'm not familiar with AWS that much. Is it? Can you go into this user?
Yeah.
And give it permissions and see.
Let me see if I can watch. Let me see what I can do right here on the live here.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, what I'll do, since we had the VPC was created, right? Yeah. So at least I can show I can show how you can test the AWS MCP server that I've created. So a very simple one. It has 2 tools. One is to list all VPCs in a specific AWS region. And what it does, it just uses the AWS CLI, right? It's not very sophisticated, right? It's just very simple thing that we wanted to do. And the second one is to list EC2 instances. So what I'll do here is I will run the inspector, so MCP inspector. And we'll at least test that the VPCs were created. What? Oh, I have it running already. Well, never mind. So let me just find the window where I have it running. So it's localhost 6277.
I have temporarily given you very high access. So this should work now. So let's try.
So you mean to that token, right?
To that particular token, yes.
Yeah. So okay, so let's rerun this, and then we'll come back. And I just want to show you this one. All right. So I have this one running on port, I think it's 8000, right? So let's connect.
Jafar had a great question. You running all MCPs locally for now, Peter? The answer, I believe, is yes.
Yes. All locally personally for me, that makes it much easier to test, right? Because what it allows me to do is if I want to add another tool, I can just make a change here, rerun it, versus rebuild the image, deploy it, restart. Yeah, you could set that up as well once you. But this is for testing. You're not doing this in production, right? This is just to prove the point what can be done, right?
Yep.
All right. So MCP Inspector, I connected to this instance, and I have these two tools. One is to list the EC2 instances. The other one is to list VPCs. I can do this, but it's probably going to be empty, right? Because we haven't created yet anything.
Haven't created any yet, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it did create it. Wait a minute.
Yeah, look at that. It did create. Oh, it finished.
Oh, that's because we were running.
Yeah. So that one finished. Okay.
All right, we were running the plan in the background.
Yes. Yeah. So it created the instance. It is the FAA one, right? There you go. Yeah. FAA one. And then same for if I try to list the VPCs.
You should see those as well. Yeah.
I'll see those as well. There you go. Right. So there's 3 of them. Right. All right. So MCP. So we have stuff deployed. MCP is working. Right. The tool is working. So let's create an agent now. Finally. Right. That will allow us to. So what I'll do is I'll create a separate agent again that we'll just call it validate AWS, right? Let's for the sake of simplicity. And this agent has access to AWS CLI and knows how to list and retrieve AWS resource information, right? That kind of makes sense. And then in the instructions, we'll just say use the available tools to check the status of resources in AWS. I think that should be enough. Oh, yeah. Of course, before we go here, we'll have to create a new tool server. So let me go back.
Oh, yeah.
We'll create the one that I'm running locally on localhost 8000 SSC, and we'll just call it AWS MCP, right? I'm so bad at naming things.
That works. It's fine.
Yeah. So let's see. Once this one comes up, we should see 2 tools there, right? There you go. List EC2 instances, list VCPs. So let me go back. Oh, it's here. Yeah.
This is like this agent is like our binoculars, right? We're just looking into.
Yes. Yeah. So let's go here, and I'll go and add the tools. AWS was there list. What is it called? Oh, I can.
One was list VPCs, and the other one was list EC2 instances on us.
Yeah, let me see. Go back, add tools. Trying to see. Oh, AWS MCP. There you go.
Yeah, you
right. List EC2 and list VPCs. Yeah. So let's do that. Use the available tools to check the status for resources and respond. How do we want the agent to respond?
Respond with the node name, IP address.
Or basically respond with all available
metadata about something like that.
Data and
about
give user the summary of health and
I was about to say
state.
that's perfect. Yeah, I was about to say
Right,
yeah,
so, something like
up,
that, right?
good idea. Is it up, down, whatever?
Yeah, exactly, because that's what we want to know, right?
Right.
All right, so that's there. So let's update this one. Okay, so let's try it. So we'll go validate AWS. So this one can list it. So let's see. What's the state of my? Let's see. Do I have any EC2 instances? Right. So I'll do very simple. It's thinking it should. There you go. So it's perfect, right?
Look at that.
So it's listing the EC2 instance, right? That's the result. Note that the result here is basically it's already doing some processing here, right? And it's returning like summary. But what we could do instead is, so instances data. So this one is, yeah. So instead of doing that, instead of doing pre-processing here, what if we just do here and say instances data, right? I'll comment this out for now.
I understand.
Right. So let's rerun it. Right. So this one already gives us a response, like a curated summary, if you will. Right.
Yeah. Great point.
And then this one is saying, oh, you have one instance. So what I'm doing right now is I'll just return whatever the AWS EC2 describe instances returns. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that one will show me the, it'll be more verbose. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's try again and say, what's the state of my EC2? State of my EC2 instances. And notice that I didn't provide the region before, and it figured it out to be. Mm-hmm. Oh, there. Now it's asking me for the region. There you go. So it's US East 1. There, let's do that. Okay, so it's calling list. There you go. Now we're getting more information, right?
Yeah.
Because the MCP is returning like the full JSON response,
and then
right?
you're not filtering that before it responds.
Yeah, exactly. What this means is we could now go to this agent. Like, notice how this response is here, and now let's say we want this to make it like, just for as an example, let's say I want this in a table format, right? I could say the summary. Format the response in a table. There you go. So let's see how that will work. And we'll go back to validate AWS. And we'll say, how does my EC2 instance in US East 1 look like? All right, let's do that. Let's
nice.
Zoom in a little bit. So I'm expecting a table now. Table, like response in a table. There you go. I mean, it looks ugly because it's still rendering it, but yeah, there you go. Right. So it is a table. It looks ugly because the screen is not. Let's do this. Right. Yeah, we can't. But you get my point, right? Now, when you have access to, like, if you get the verbose response from your tool, then you can have your agent figure out the formatting, or basically we can say, hey, don't show me the architecture or image ID or whatever. Just show me the information that I need, right?
Right. Jafar asked another good question. How can we add the waiting time for this agent? Will it occur sequentially?
What do you mean by waiting time? I don't. So the tools, if you're, I don't know if you're asking about this, but let us know. The tools are called in sequence. They're not called in parallel, if that makes sense, right? So I'll remove this response in a table because it kind of looks ugly, but because there's too much data. But anyway, so we have that. So what's next? So the next thing that we want to do is we want to incorporate this validate AWS agent into our IaC agent, right?
Right.
So we have this big agent here. We're going to go to add tools and agent, and then we'll pick the, where is it? Validate AWS agent. So add that one there. All right. So now the question is, so Git PR, read file in a repo. So I'm curious. Oh, we don't have, okay. So let's see what happens. So we know what the PR was, right? So let's go back to the pull request. The pull request was this one, right? So it was pull request number 4. I just don't know if we have the tool that will actually get the PR information from the PR. You know what I mean? So let me go here. So let's see. What do we have here? Because what we want to do now is, let me actually try it.
We can give it a shot. I mean,
can you check if all resources that were created in the PR number 4, can you check if all resources created in PR, can you also validate? Can you validate that all resources created in the PR are actually deployed and running in AWS, right? So what I'm expecting here now is, and we might have to change some things or update. I don't know if the Git PR agent knows how to, well, the tools that we have here, if they know how to get.
It'd be interesting
PRs,
to see how this coordinates the answer to
that. So let's see what happens. But the idea is it should be able to figure out what PR number 4 was.
It should.
And then go and call the validate AWS.
It should. Okay, so
there you go. Right?
Directions that I can access. Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't have the tools to. So it called the agent and says validate all resources are actually deployed and running. And then this one, clone the repo. Right. Branch name. Oh, it's looking for a branch name. Right. There you go. I think it was looking for a change. Oh, look at that. So it was looking for a change log. Look at that. It's looking for a change log. So
this is interesting, actually. That's a very good point here, which is readiness, agency readiness, right? So like, had we had a change log, you know what I mean? Like, had we been in the best practice of using,
it would like.
You get what I'm saying? So like, we can kind of make ourselves more data. I hate to say it this way, but like we expose more data about what is happening with and then the agents can make better choices on
but also don't forget, like this is something that we haven't told the agent how to do, right? It automatically, right? It figured out that, oh, maybe there's a changelog file that I should look at to see what was changed. However, I think what we should do is, and we have 15 more minutes, right? So we could do that. Why not? So what I want to do is I want to go back to this Git PR MCP that we have, and what I'll do is I want to create a tool that knows how to get to. Let me go here. No, wrong one. To get to a PR like this one. Right? And figure out what was actually changed here. So then it would know what to check for, if that makes sense. Right? So let's do that. So we'll go here, and I'm not going to be writing code. I'll just go here, and I'll ask, what do we have? Gemini 2.5 Pro to do this for us. So we'll say, can you add a tool that takes a PR number as an input and then returns the details, returns the contents. Let's say returns the contents of all files that were changed, or returns the changes, right? The changes that were made in that PR. Let's see what happens here. All right, so Jafar is saying, sorry, waiting time of the Terraform agent to finish his task and the Git action to finish his work too. So the final agent will find the, so right now it's not fully automated, right? Remember the Git agent, when it creates the PR, you have to go in and approve it, right? However, if we would automate this, if we would say, we just want the agent to like automatically approve the PR, right, and just merge it, then we could add the automatical verification at the end, right? So it could be the whole thing, right? But the waiting time, it would still have to wait, right, for like the actual resources to be created and all that. So
there would be some, like when we define the AWS IaC agent, which is going to be using all of these sub agents that we've been defining, we may be able to say in that agent prompt, create Terraform. Then after you finish taking create Terraform, then you need to go verify, right? So the weight is kind of implied in the prompting that we do in the higher level agency, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of hard because it's not. I'm trying to find what the word.
It's like we're doing unit testing right now of like agents before we do like functional testing of the whole thing.
Yeah. All right. So we have the PR tool here. Let's just go quickly through it to see if it does what we wanted it to do, right? So yeah, okay. So this is gonna fail. We have the active. So owner, repo name, full name. So it's going to go and get the repo. It's going to go and get the PR. Yeah, and this exists, right? This is the API that we're using, right? It's going to get the files from the PR, and then it's going to go through all the files and give us all the additions, deletions, and or patches that were created, and it's just going to return the summary, right? Let's do that. So let's apply it. We'll have to rerun it, and what I'll do is I'll test it in the MCP Explorer, if I can find it. There you go. So this one's running. I'm just trying to find my windows. So I'll connect to, this one is at 99999. So let's connect to this one. Oh, we have to do clear and list again. And then we set get PR changes, right? And PR number 4, right? Was it 4? Let's just double check. Yep, it was number 4.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens here. If we there you go. So changes. What was the? It's kind of. Let me go here. So changes. What was added? What was deleted? There you go. Right. It actually gives us the overview of changes that happen, and we are hoping that this is enough information for the agent to know what it needs to go and figure out to validate in the AWS account. Right, so it will see, right. Here's how I see it, right? It will see that there was a resource created, right? And then it should know to go and check whether this resource was actually created or not.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we proved that this works. I mean, we have it there, right? So let's now go and we will edit our IaC agent.
That's
and
right.
We'll add it a tool.
The one we just...
Yeah, the one that we just created, right? Let me see if that's it. Oh, there you go. Create a PR summary, right? That's the one. It's going to know how to create a... Oh, no. Sorry, that's not the one. What did we call it? I forgot.
List PR. What was it called again?
Get PR changes.
Sorry,
yeah.
Not list PR changes. Yeah. Get PR changes.
So get PR change. Okay, maybe it's not. Let me just double check that it actually updated. Let's see. Oh, there it's here. Get
there
PR
it is.
Changes, right? So it's there. I don't know why it took PR. No, let's refresh. Let's see. Get PR. Oh, there you go. Get PR changes, right? So we added that one. Save it. So we have PR agent, Terraform agent, validate AWS agent, and then this is the new addition, Get PR.
There we go.
So let's try it out now and say, oh, this was, let me just see. Can you validate? There you go. So I'll copy the same prompt. Let's see what happens now.
So kind of on the fly, right? We kind of like went through a use case of like, how do agents need to be configured such that if a plan fails, right? Like how do we?
Yeah.
How do they get themselves out of a jam? Kind of sort.
There you go. So it did like it did. I don't know why it cloned the oh, it's still doing something, but it cloned the repo. Yeah, it shouldn't have to, right? It got the PR changes. This is the new tool that we added, right? So yep. PR number 4. And this is the same response that we got in the inspector, right? That we were looking. Right. And then it called the validate AWS. Look at that, right? It's saying validate the EC2 instance with the tags name equals web server.
Web server, perfect.
This is what's coming from the PR, right? Over here, if you see, let's go here, right? Tags name web dash server, right? from MPR4 is actually deployed, verified that the instance ID and public IP match the outputs defined in the change outputs file. All right. So this one called the list. All right. So the validate AWS agent called the list EC2 instances tool, which is good. It got the response back, right? That whole JSON, right? It also listed VPCs. It found the instance with the tag and gave us the details, right? It's running inactive, blah, 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 right? Then it read the outputs file because it wanted to check the instance ID and public IP, but this one is not actually there, right? So let's see what the response is. The Terraform outputs file defines the following outputs of the EC2 instance ID, instance file. I have validated in AWS that EC2 instance with the tag name equals web exists, is running, and has following details. There you go. This matches outputs from the PR2. Therefore, I confirm that EC2 instance resource created in PR2 is actually deployed and running in AWS as expected. Boom, right? So now let's try a negative case, right? And it'll say, hey, can you check whether a Kubernetes cluster with the we have to do EC2 instance with the tag blah with the creator equals blah exists. I'll just say, right? This doesn't exist.
There you go. Let's see what it does.
Unless you went in and actually created it, right?
No, I didn't.
So it's asking me for AWS region. So let's say US East 1, right? Mm-hmm. It could be anything else. It doesn't exist, so it doesn't really matter what what we say here, but it'll go and it'll check, validate. There are currently no instances, right? There is one running instance, but it has tags. Project example Terraform name web. Not creator equals blah, right? So it actually knew, like it listed the instances that are there, right? So it knows what's there, and it was smart enough to basically figure out that there's an instance with that tag is not there, the one that we asked for, right? So, yeah, well, just right on time, I guess, right?
Right on time. My goodness, did we not cover quite a lot? We did over these past 3 live streams. We created the Terraform agent. We created the GitHub agent, right? We added tools. Oh my gosh, we did so much stuff. And so yeah, we're kind of at the beginning of this whole AIRE framework. Project that's coming together, right? Eventually we want to see these kind of agencies that can really act as reliability engineering agents on our behalf. So yes. Very fascinating to see.
So. Yeah And this is, I always think, like, people might think that we spend a lot of time off the stream coming up with this, but that's very far from the truth. Like, all this was mostly built, granted, I'll have to say that the Git PR agent, or the MCP tool, I built that before the stream.
A little bit.
But the AWS one, I basically built it an hour before we went live, right? So it's,
the permissions issues that we had literally all
live.
All live. That was live.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say is I think we've gotten pretty far with in a very short amount of time, right? Yeah. Now imagine if you actually if you wanted to productize this or whatever, right? If you wanted to make it more production ready, right?
Sprints around
you would probably
finding these agencies, yes.
Yeah, you would probably spend more time, right? You'll have to spend more time to check all the cases, check all the scenarios. We're trying to stay on the golden path here for scenarios, right? Sure. But I think it's pretty useful what we built. I hope people at least saw that it's not that scary to build these things, right? And it's not that hard either necessarily, right?
Yeah. What's on the horizon? So just as a question, what's on the horizon for K Agent? Because we've been doing all this stuff with K Agent, and like for the project K agent itself, like what's on the horizon is what's on the roadmap for the project that we've been using this whole time.
Yes. Yeah. So we've actually, let me open this and share my screen again. If I let's go this one. So we have an actual full board of work that's in progress, that needs planning, that's in backlog, right? That's in progress. There's a lot of stuff that it's being worked on. So we'll welcome new contributors for sure. If anything like interests you from this list, let us know. Pick it up, start working on it, I guess. But at a high level, like what we're doing is observability, and is one of the big things that Eitan is looking at, to add some observability to the agents. There's some changes that we'll do in terms of moving the built-in tools and create a dedicated MCP server for them. A lot of like small bug fixes, basically decoupling the K agent from the actual agent framework to make it more lean. Like enabling Vertex AI, for example, models, OpenShift support, AWS, like a lot of things, right? That's there. A lot of things still in the backlog, like a lot of bugs and some features that we need to do. But yeah, I think the community is coming together. It's very vibrant. A lot of people participating. So yeah, if anyone watching, if you want to join us, we do have a community page on kagent.dev. We have all the upcoming events there. You can watch previous meetings and live streams that we did. You can join our Discord, right?
We're there.
Yeah, exactly, and ask questions. But I think in general, like if you want to start with this, just like it's just a matter of starting with it. You know what I mean? There's no like go through docs, install it, try it out, right? If you get stuck, come and join Discord, ask questions, and we'll help you out.
Help you out. There you go. Well, thanks again, Peter. I tell you, it's been a fun one. Let me know whenever you want to do this again. We can certainly do this again. And for the folks watching, let us know if this was helpful. Again, let us know if this was helpful. If you could like, comment, subscribe, right? Subscribe to Peter's YouTube, subscribe to Crane, right?
Yeah.
So please, I know there's a lot of people probably going to watch this on the replay, so this is why I'm kind of doing that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So, but again, thanks. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, same here. Thank you, and well, thanks everyone for watching. And once we if you have, as Jason said, if you have any ideas, questions, let us know, and we'll come back online and we'll do something else. We'll try to build something else as well. Right. All right. It's nice chatting with you, and see you next time.
Until next time. Later.
Yep. Bye.